Before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to Time. He is my first supporter on Patreon. You too can support me on Patreon for as little as $1, and that $1 will get you a shout out at the beginning of all my future videos, as well as early access to videos before they post on YouTube. And as well, you will gain access to my Discord server, which is exclusive to my Patreons. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to our Roblox Studio series. Today we're adding a finish line and a countdown timer to our obby. We'll manually create the UI elements for the you won and you lost messages and then use scripts to activate them during gameplay. Let's get started. First, let's set up a finish line. Insert a new part into the workspace, resize it to create a finish pad, and position it at the end of your obstacle course. Also, just to add a finishing touch, we will search for finish, and I'm going to grab a flag and drag it into the scene. Going to rotate it a little bit and scale it up. Let's rename it to finish line, or that's the flag. And don't forget to anchor the finish line or the finish pad. I'm going to select this last path right here, and I'm going to scale it to be really skinny. Now let's create the UI elements for you won and you lost. In the Explorer, locate the starter GUI and insert a screen GUI. Rename this to Game UI for organization. Next, we'll need to add two text labels to the game UI, one for the you won message and one for the you lost message. Let's set up the win message first. Under the size property, it uses offset by default. We want to use scale, not offset. So let's set the offset to 0. It's going to disappear at first, but then let's do scale. And just think of scale as 0.5 of the screen. So that's 50% of the screen on the x-axis. And then let's do 50% of the screen on the y-axis. And that's how big it is. Let's center it up. You can tell it's centered by that green dotted line. The text, we're going to say you won. And we are going to crank the text size way up to 100. And text stroke transparency, we're going to turn all the way down to 0. And for text color, let's make it red. Let's turn the background transparency up to 1. And then finally, find the visible property and uncheck it so we don't see it right away. Now let's repeat the process for the lose message, and I'm simply just going to duplicate this, call it lose message. Let's go down to the text and say you lost, and I believe that's all we have to do for the UI. Actually, there is one more I want to add. Let's duplicate the lose message, and let's name it die message, and let's change the text to you died. Now that we have our UI element set up, let's script the finish line interaction. Click the finish line in the Explorer and then click the plus icon and insert a script. Let's rename this script to finish line script and write the following code. This script checks if the player touches the finish line, and if they haven't already finished the obby, it displays the "You won" message by setting its visible property to true. Let's test it out to make sure it's working. So I've moved the camera close to the finish line on top of this platform, and I'm just going to click play here. And there you go. Now let's add a countdown timer UI. So go back to your game UI in the Explorer. We're going to click the plus icon and we're going to select text label. Or actually, let's do this. Let's delete that text label and let's just duplicate one of our existing texts. And we are going to rename it to be timer label. Let's make it visible so we can see it. I want to put it in the top center. And we will use a script to update this text as the timer counts down. So we are going back to the game UI and we're going to insert a local script. And we are going to rename this script to be timer script. And let's write some code. This script counts down from 30 seconds, updating the timer label each second. If the timer reaches 0, it shows the "You lost" message by setting its visible property to true. Let's hit play and test it out. And it's a little large for my liking, but I don't think the size is the problem. I think there's just too much going on right here. I don't really like how it says time left and then the number. So let's just get rid of that time left. So just go to line 5 and just remove everything but I. And then now we press play. Yeah, I like that better. Let's lower the time to just 5 seconds. And let's play. Let's see what happens when... Okay, so it's working, but I don't like how it just stays on 0. And it went 3, 2, 1, 0, then you lost. I wanted to say 3, 2, 1, you lost. So with for loops, you say for I equals a specified amount of time. And then this first number is what we're counting down to. And the second number is the direction we're counting towards. Like -1 means we're counting down. And we also want to hide the timer label whenever it reaches 0. So we will say, we'll put it right here. We'll just say timer label dot visible equals false. And now if we press play, 1, you lost. Excellent. So now the way it is, we can display the "You lost" message, but it really doesn't change anything. It's just showing text on the screen because we can still win. We can still go to the finish line and win. So let's make it to where we truly lose. And in order to do that, it's pretty easy. We're just going to, first, I want to move these variables near the top, just because I like to keep all my variables at the top of the script. And back to resetting the player. So we just want to wait. Actually, I don't want to wait any time. I just want to immediately reset the player. So we'll just say if character, then, and we simply just got to kill the character if you think about it. And so that's the easiest way to do this. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to set the health to 0. And this will respawn the player. So if we press play now and let the time run out, we should just die immediately. And respawn. So let's go back to our finish line script and let's do the same thing. Let's kill the player after a delay after we win. I know it doesn't make too much sense that we're killing the player for winning, but just think of it as we're resetting the player, because really that's what we're doing. So we got to get our character, which should just be the hit.parent. So we'll just say, yeah, let's see this, local character equals hit.parent, and we'll just say character. Let's do find. You can do find first child or find first child of class. And we'll do humanoid health equals 0. So we won. And now we reset. So I think if we touch the checkpoint first and then win, it's just going to reset us to the checkpoint. So we won. Yeah, we go back to the checkpoint, so we'll fix that. So let's do this right before we kill the character. Let's make sure that it matches, that its team color is the same as the original spawn location's team color. So simply say player.teamColor equals workspace.spawnlocation.teamColor. And then now let's try it out. So I'm going to go touch the checkpoint, and then I'm going to win the game. Excellent. So right now, whenever we win and the game ends, the timer continues to count down. We just want to hide the timer. So let's do that. And we will do that right here. So we'll say local timer label equals player GUI, find first child, game UI, find first child, timer label. Then we will say timer label dot visible equals false. And I actually don't want to delay when we win. I just want to kill the guy immediately, but still tell the player that they won. And that's it. We added a finish line, set up a countdown timer, and used pre-made UI elements to display win or lose messages. By creating the UI elements manually, we made it easy to control their visibility in scripts. Feel free to customize the text, colors, and timing to fit your game. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Roblox Studio tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.